presentation. It's down to 15 minutes, right, Mark?
Yeah, well, so that's exactly what I did. First thing, I appreciate y'all having me here. And I really thought it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Because I figured that'd be about enough time to get you guys oriented and figure out what's going on. So I took my time and made this wonderful PowerPoint, which we don't have a screen. But I've never seen a crowd that I haven't liked been able to talk to. So I got to give you my credentials. Because, you know, you got to push the I believe button, right? So I've been beekeeping since April of this year. Next best thing, telling truth, telling a lie, right? April this year. I have some property out in Locust Grove. My grandfather had 1,000 acres back in the 50s. I ended up with 10. I wanted something so I could pay the taxes. I need to make $300 a year, right? The state had a grant for beehives. You guys can still, did you get it or you know somebody's got some? You get beehives. So I thought that's the easiest thing to do. Is you get bees, put them in a box, get honey, right? That's all you do. No. Exactly 15 days later, now bees, they come in a package. All right, there's about 3,000 bees in there. $125. 15 days later, I go up to Locust Grove. The bear ate all my bees. Now you got to understand that I had to clear land. I got an old '54 Ford tractor, bought a cheap steel chainsaw, and I'm literally a logger in my spare time. So I'm really devastated. So the club I belong to, they were able to get some bees. I got some at my house. I now have 9 hives. So I've got 3 years of experience in one. So am I an expert? No, but I got enough books and I know enough people. The one thing I do know is that if you put 10 beekeepers in a room, you'll get 12 answers. So that's probably about par for the course. So I brought some stuff along, and I'll tell you, I've absolutely been fascinated by bees. I know a couple of y'all have bees or have whatever. I actually live in Kingswood now. I have 7 hives at my house, unless I'm a 4-acre lot. Now, of course, everybody's worried you're going to get bit and stung. Absolutely not. They're just like us. We get antagonized, then we're going to go after you. But just like he was saying, is that, you know, bees obviously pollinate just about everything that we have. And the number one killer of bees are beekeepers. There's mites and pesticides and everything that goes on with these things that I had no idea. I'm serious. I thought you'd get some bees, put them in a box. They come with these little cute little. Oh, by the way, I brought some honey, right? You got to bring honey, or you can't do that. And I also got some lip balm because my daughter wants to be one of those Kardashians. You know, you guys can have that too. But they pollinate apples, cranberries, melons, and broccoli. Also pumpkins. We were having a conversation about pumpkins, and I was trying to figure out exactly how many pumpkins you get to a plant. Well, I live in a 1/4-acre lot. My pumpkin plant is probably from about here to that wall, and I got 3 pumpkins. But I don't know if that's right or not, but the bees certainly had a good time with those too. Almonds. In California, there's an almond field the size of New Jersey. It's a monocrop. It's the only thing out there, so they need bees. Commercial beekeepers, you could take this box out there, drop it off for 3 weeks, they pay $170 just to pollinate those crops. Then they take them and they actually make the circuit around, so that's what commercial beekeepers do. And it's big money. It really is big money to help the crops and help the environment. Between $1.2 and $5 billion in agriculture or productivity, honeybees do that. 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat come from bees. I grew up downtown Fredericksburg, and I can remember in the spring always stepping on a clover and getting stung. When I started doing this, I can't remember the last time I saw honeybee in my yard. You know, as kids, that's what we used to do. You know, I hated shoes. As I got older, I hated ties, hated belts, and hated socks. So, but as a kid, we would always step on bees, and I realized that there were no bees out there. And I didn't know why. I didn't care because milk comes from Walmart, right? Pumpkins come from Weiss. At least that's what some of my kids believe. So,
The biggest thing about bees, like I said, beekeepers, there's a lots of things going on with mites. There's a mite out there that looks like a tick, and they are absolutely deadly, because what they do is they go in, and when the queen lays an egg, the mite will go in there and lay eggs, and so when the bee is developing, the mite will eat the bee. They will absolutely be devastated, and it takes about 21 days for a bee to be born. So that's the brood cycle. So if you have mites today, you're going to show the thing in 21 days. They're the ones out there doing the work, so if they're, what's the right word I want to use, not up to 100%, they're not going to bring pollen and nectar and things like that. So if you don't treat for mites and if you don't take care of them, that's going to decimate bees. And viruses, there's about 20 honeybee viruses have been identified in there. But mites is the biggest one. It's not a matter of if you're going to have mites, when you're going to have mites. And you have to, then there's some things, so basically what happens with bees is bees live in the bottom box, and they put honey in the top box. All right, so that's kind of how they work. And they work their way up through these frames. Now, the stuff that I have, I didn't bring any comb, but they'll move up, okay? And then what you can do is you can put a queen excluder, because the queen's a little fatter, she can't go up there, and then that's where we get the honey from. And we take those, they call them honey supers, and extract the honey and put them back on there. So the first year you do this, you don't get honey, because the bees are out making comb. Now I have honey on my hives, but if I take it all, there's not going to be anything for there in the winter. So they're just in some ways like bears, but they need to store some stuff up too. Depending on some of the mite treatments is depending on if you can keep your honey there or not. There's some that are natural out of hops, some stuff the beer's made out of, that you can put these strips over top of it. There's a salicylic acid that you put on a stick and put it in the battery current, and it turns into a vapor. But it's just a mess. I mean, and the bad thing about it is that most of our bees that we buy come from North Carolina or Georgia. A lot of them from Georgia, because they have commercial bee farms where they do bees. So if you have a commercial guy that takes his stack of bees from Virginia out to California, and they mix in with the Texas bees, North Carolina. Someone told me it's like a sailor going to port. I understood that. So you get these diseases and viruses that are coming back to us that we've never had before. And just like most animals, they're coming resistant to it. So the treatments that you do now, you can't do in a year from now. So it's not just putting bees in the boxes. As much as I think it would be that easy, it's not. And I am just totally fascinated. A lot of people are worried about getting stung to death, and I think when they do the math and the weight, you've got to have about 400 stings to death. Have I been stung? Yeah. Will they go through these gloves? Yes. Will they go through these pants? Yes. Will they go through these hoods? Probably not. But it's just like everybody else, and we have something we just kind of went through, is the dark. When your grass is brown, there's nothing for them to eat. So they're going to start eating the honey. Well, they're upset. When we start popping open the top, digging around at 100 degrees outside, I'm not happy when somebody opens that everything. Bees also, they keep their hives at about 95, 96 degrees. So even in the middle of winter, it's going to be that warm. So they overwinter and keep everything like that. The average, here's what's really scary, is what's killing bees. During the 2018-19, these are U.S. statistics. An estimated of 37.7 of managed honeybee colonies in the United States were lost. So I'm going to lose 40% of my crop. I don't know, if I'm going to invest, if I got 10, I'm going to lose 4. At $100 a pop, $150 a pop. That's an increase of 9.8% to the 13-year average. So it is getting worse. It is getting worse. For the entire survey period of April 2018 to April 2019, so beekeepers in the U.S. lost an estimated 40% of their managed bee colonies. So this is a big deal. I mean, when like, I live in Kingswood over there, and my next door neighbor was, oh my God, my kids are gonna die. I'm like, come over here, let me show you. You don't need a lot of land to keep bees, you really don't. They say 2 hives for about every acre, and they've got to have some water, they've got to have some stuff, some plants like that. So it's not only just great for farmers, I mean, it's the yields that you'll get out of there, but what happens is that they'll spray pesticides. They take that, they go right back here, and your colony decimated in days. So if you know somebody that, if you have bees and people around which were like Roundup, I know I see all those ads on TV that people have been affected by it, but I mean they'll decimate a colony of bees, and it's really a big deal. What does all this cost? This right here, about 120 bucks. The jacket, 125. Gloves, 25. So they have, this is what we call a deep. Then they have a medium, which is about this big, and then they have a shallow, which is about this big. Each one of these frames, when they're full of honey, is about 10 pounds. When you think about it, you're lifting 100 pounds of dead weight. I'm no spring chicken, but I have smaller honey supers to do that. When they go in over winter, they need about, in this area, about 50 pounds of honey. So we need to make sure they're fed. If not, we can continue to feed them through the winter. But the same token too, if we pop and open this up and it's 30 degrees outside, all their heat's gone. And that makes a big difference to them. What do they eat? Nectar and pollens from flowering and blooming plants. It's so interesting to pull it up and you'll see the different colors of pollen that's around. As honeybees gather sweet plant nectar, they also enjoy a sip if they're hungry, but their primary goal is to convert nectar into honey. So they take this nectar, they put it in there, and they fan it. They actually dehydrate it until it gets down to about 18%. And that's what this stuff is. Honey never goes bad. They found some honey in the Egyptian tombs. It doesn't go bad. I mean, it will crystallize like it is thrown in the microwave, but honey doesn't go bad. The pollen's collected by the bees during the time of plenty and stored for later. What they do to feed the baby bees is they take the nectar and the honey and mix it with the pollen in something called bee bread. And that's what they feed it. And then they turn the royal jelly into it to make for a queen. I'm telling you, I'm already at 17 minutes and I've got 9 pages to go. Only thing I want to say is 2 things. Is that yes, I'll be coming back next month because of the food. And I don't know how, if you actually made those names up for people as you were going along, or that's their name, but I'd like to get one of those too. I am going to leave some honey with you folks. Like I said, I knew I couldn't get through everything in 15 minutes. If anybody is interested in beehives and want to put them on your property, let me know. Part of what I want to do is, I've got 9 this year, I want 25 next year. So I'll kind of be like a sharecropper. I do have a website out there, it's called GesHoneybees.com. Of course, in recording this, I try to put a video a week out there too. I had a hornet's nest. I did a little redneck engineering and took my 20 gauge and fixed a hornet's nest. So the guys are out there looking at that too. I tried the organic method and the spray can thing, but I went back to wood something. So I know I'm over. Does anybody have any questions?
You ever gone out in the wild and tried to obtain a swarming hive?
Not yet. Like I said, I'm serious. I've been doing it since April. But it's amazing. Bees, it's like dogs. Dogs know when you're scared, right? And I've heard people that are just afraid of bees. It's a mentality. When I first started keeping bees, the guy said, the problem is you work by yourself. I went, okay. But if you go in with a good attitude, I mean, the only times I've been stung is when I did stupid stuff. If you wear your protective gear, it's like being a police officer or fireman. You wear it every single time, right? Because then you go into Wawa and something happens. I didn't wear socks one time. It got me on my foot.
You know what I mean? Yes, there's a video after that. But I mean, anytime I have the opportunity to do it, absolutely. Because I think it's free bees. Anybody else?
Are all the bees in the country related to one another? Or is it, is it one?
No, there's a couple different species. One of them, the one that I have is Italians. They're calm and they produce good honey. There's Carnolians, and then of course there's the African bees.
Do the crossbred bees resist mites?
Yes. University of Minnesota actually has a really big beekeeping program, and they are breeding queens to be resistant to the mites. These mites, they get on their back. Just think if you were to ride around with a backpack on you, and all they do is they suck you out. So mites are just terrible. Yes, but they are doing resistant queens. And what you can do, so let's say if I have a bad hive, when I say a bad hive, they're not producing, I can kill the queen, bring another queen in. Now you just can't pop it in there because they know it's not your queen. But introduce them in there, and then they'll accept her. Or you can take a frame of brood, pop it in here, and rechange the population. So there's a difference between a bee haver and a beekeeper. Bee haver puts them in a box, walks away, and go, "Wow, I got honey," or they all died. Beekeeper is just like anything else. I mean, if you guys train dogs or train kids, it's the same thing. It takes a lot of work to do it, but it's very, very rewarding. And it's good for the environment. It really is. I mean, the honey, I don't know what I want out of this. People say, "Why do you want to do it?" I want to get $300 on my taxes. I have enough stuff here to pay the taxes. So, anybody else?
When you treat for mites,
Yes.
one treatment enough, or do you have to treat them over a long period?
Depends on the treatment. There's some of them you put in once a week for 3 weeks because you got to get through the brood cycle, and it all depends. If you have honey on there, some of the chemicals will get in honey. It's okay for the bees, but not okay for us. So there's usually two goals. One of the goals, which everybody thinks, is to make honey, or you can make bees. All right, something like this at farmer's market, $8-10. I can sell a box of bees like this for $150. I can sell a queen for $30. So I might decide I want to sell bees because I don't want to hang at farmer's market every day. So if you're selling bees, you don't make as much honey. So it all depends on what you want. I think I want to get in the bee business right now. So. Yes, sir.
The Africanized bees having any effect on the eastern bees?
Yeah, they're all in Florida now. And the same thing too. So when you get it only takes one, sail on the port. And there's several surveys out there that people will. It's like when we count mites, I record them so we can kind of keep them tracked. It's not an official thing, but yeah, Africanized bees, and they're not as bad as TB, but they're much more aggressive than this. You're not gonna pop it. You're not gonna open this thing up in July and just say, "Hi, how you doing?" Because I think the same way too. If it's 100 degrees outside, you open up my house, all my air conditioner's gone off.
You just said you count them. Are mites that big? You count them?
Yes. Yeah. So actually, the way you do it, there's two or three different ways. The best way is there's a container. You get some windshield wiper fluid. You get about a half a cup of bees, which is a 300. You dump them in here and you shake them. It kills them. Then the mites come down and you can count them. You're allowed 3 per 100, and that's the threshold. Any more than that, you got a problem. So yeah, you have to. You can also do powdered sugar so you don't kill them. But I'm going to have 15,000 bees in this box. I can lose 300, and I had a hard time killing bees. But I'm a beekeeper, not a bee haver. The end result of the colony will be stronger if we sacrifice the bees. So mites are a big deal. Anybody else? I got 2.5 hours.